Hello everyone, I am Michael Alexander and we're glad you came out to join us this evening, and it's my pleasure, my honor to share with you some history on Bitclub Network, how we got started, where we've come from, where we're at, and where we're going. So many of you probably sitting in this room right now, this is all new news to you. You haven't heard about Bitcoin before. So it's a lot to take in, I understand, because I was in your shoes not so long ago myself. I had heard of Bitcoin, but most of what I thought I knew was misinformation. In fact, when my friends started Bitclub Network, I didn't really understand and I couldn't appreciate where their heads were at or what they were going to create. So I didn't want to even look into it, so I chose not to. Big mistake. Today it's self-evident, and of course after their first year it was self-evident to me, and I finally was willing to stop, look, listen, and learn. I hope from this evening you'll take away enough information from what's been shared, because you owe it to yourself and your family to really thoroughly educate yourself. You see, all of us tonight, and a very small minority of people around the world, even know about this, and we're the lucky one. If you walk away, you're going to look back a year from now, 2 years from now, and realize you made a very big mistake. So if you don't take anything away from this tonight that I say or share, other than that, please, for your sake, investigate. Do your homework. Educate yourself. Let me illustrate this way. 1 year ago, if you didn't know about Bitcoin or did not get involved in Bitcoin, when you could have bought it at $300 roughly a coin, today it's at over $700. How many people here, if you knew a year ago you could buy Bitcoin for under $300, would you have bought Bitcoin a year ago knowing now you could sell it for over $700? I'm curious, how much Bitcoin would you have bought a year ago had you known this? Did they tell you I have a time machine and tonight we can go back in time? I'm only kidding. But here's an analogy that I use, that I share with my friends and my colleagues that you might want to use. I ask them, what is email? It's a digital letter, isn't it? What is Bitcoin? It's digital money. It's digital gold. Now, just 20 plus years ago, none of us were using email, but I imagine you all are using it today. Everything is going digital in the world we live in. They call it the digital age, thanks to the internet. But 20 plus years ago, most of us didn't even know what the internet was. We certainly weren't using it. Most people called it a fad back then. It'll never last. But it's changed the world. Bill Gates was laughed at because he said that every home, every person would have a personal computer. But yet today, we all have more than one. May I use this? What is this? Is so much more powerful than my first computer. I didn't even want to buy one. I was afraid of it, but my secretary threatened to quit if I didn't buy her one. Now, let's go back in time. I told you there was a time machine.
今さっきのタイムマシンがあるって言いましたよね。じゃあもう一回過去に戻ってみましょう。
Let's go back 30 plus years. Could you walk into a restaurant or any place of business and pull out a piece of plastic, American Express, Visa, MasterCard, and pay for things? And yet today, can you imagine not being able to use this to pay for things? But along comes the internet, and business and commerce starts being done over the internet, and people are afraid to use their credit card, even now, on the internet. And why are some of the reasons? One, your identity or card can be stolen. There's so much fraud. There's chargebacks and the high cost of processing credit cards. Keep in mind, think about, this came before the internet. It's not best suited for the internet. What is? What is best suited is digital currency, Bitcoin, no fraud, no chargebacks. It costs virtually nothing, pennies to use it. That's some of the reasons why Bitcoin is being adopted worldwide. Now as we, whoa.
そうですね。
I thought there would be a picture up there.
Yeah.
Okay, well I can talk while we wait. So what's going to come up on the screen are two arrows. One is red going down, one is green going up, illustrating the law of supply and demand. My fault.
彼のせいですね。踏んじゃってましたから。
Big feet. Now the law of supply and demand drives the price of everything, doesn't it? It drives the price of gold and real estate and stocks and financial markets. And in my background, I've been involved as an investor most of my life in real estate, stocks, futures or commodities, Forex. And some of you may have also invested money, maybe a little, maybe a lot. So if you have, you know what kind of returns to expect.
Yeah.
Is it reasonable to expect to get over 100% return on your investment in any of these ways? As an example, I'll use hedge funds because most people that are wealthy invest their money in hedge funds to get the highest and best returns. But you've got to be an accredited investor, meaning a net worth of over $1 million. You have to show that you earn more than $200,000 a year. You have to invest a minimum of $250,000 to $500,000 if they'll even let you in. If you look at the average returns last year of the top 10 hedge funds, just over 21% for the year. I got a lot better return than that on my Bitcoin. But what we're hearing about tonight is something even better than buying Bitcoin and holding them. Because if you bought 5 or more Bitcoin, in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, how many Bitcoin would you have? You'd only have 5, right? Now I'm sure you'd be happy that you bought the Bitcoin as the Bitcoin price goes up. But I asked my friends, if I knew something even better than buying Bitcoin and letting it go up in value, would you want to know what it is? And everyone says yes. I would like to know what that is. And that is taking that same 5 Bitcoin, which at $700 plus is roughly $3,600, which is why I put $3,600 over here. I don't expect to double my money over here. Never have. Probably never will. Here, I have doubled my money in a year. But even better, that same money invested in a Bitcoin mining share with Bitclub Network yields, as an example, some of my friends that are just passive, they've never told anyone, earned 15 Bitcoin in 18 months. And some of my friends that were in 2 years ago, 22 Bitcoins in 2 years. You see why I say I regret I didn't get started 2 years ago? But it's never too late. Which is why, because with Bitclub Network, we earn Bitcoin every single day. Week in, month in and out, year in and out, in perpetuity. Now the experts are saying Bitcoin's going to be soon 10,000 a coin. Probably within the next 2 to 4 years. I don't know exactly when. But here's what I do know. All of us that know what's going on in the world of Bitcoin know that it's going to 10,000 a coin and it won't stop. It's going to keep going up. So since we know this, and if you don't know this, you soon will know this, I ask you, how much Bitcoin do you want to have when it's 10,000 a coin? Now let's switch gears and talk a little bit about Bitclub Network history. When we started mining Bitcoin over 2 years ago, the latest and greatest computers were S3s. An S3 computer, 1 petahash, required an airplane hangar to house it. Now some of you may not know what a petahash is. When I started, I didn't know. but it's an awful lot of computing power. Okay, good. So, what happened was we progressed. We upgraded when the S4 computers came out. We sold all the S3s, and we moved into the Iceland facilities that you saw the video of. So when the S5 computers came out, we sold all the S4s and upgraded to S5s. This was all made possible because of our business model. You see, our business model, the individuals, the IT geniuses, the business professionals, and the marketing professionals who pooled all their money to get started knew what was coming. I call them visionaries because they had this vision early on. Because they decided to include their friends and family, and they included their friends and family, we in 1 year grew so fast we became ranked as number 13 in the world. And because more of us shared this with our friends and family, we upgraded to S7 computers, and we rose to number 6 in the world in just 12 months later. So within our first 2 years, number 6 in the world. We have now recently gone through, a few months ago, another upgrade. We sold all the S7 computers and upgraded to the new S9 computers. Not just any S9 computer with the 28 nanometer chips like we've been running and everyone else is running, but because of our special relationship that we've built over time with the #1 Bitcoin miner and one of the top 5 Bitcoin miners in the world, who build the equipment and the hardware and the chips, all of our machines are running the new S16 nanometer chips. So much more powerful and efficient computers. Because the very design and nature of blockchain technology is it becomes more and more complex and complicated, which is moving out the smaller Bitcoin miners. One of the reasons they're getting moved out is the cost of mining. The older computers cost us per petahash over $56,000 a month in electricity. Our new machines, which we now run almost 70 petahash, only cost us about $6,000 a month per petahash. Not only do the new machines use less electricity, which keeps the cost down, we also have the computing power. 1 petahash with these new S9 computers with the 16 nanometer chip can do 10,000 million mathematical calculations every minute. Because we're able to do these mathematical calculations faster and more efficiently, we're receiving more and more rewards, moving us up the ranks. Because we're one of only 3, and the other 2 are our partners, but we're one of 3 that have these new computers with these S16 nanometer chips, we expect that we will soon be moving into the number 5, 4, 3 spot. Would you like a sneak peek of our new facilities and new machines that are nitrogen cooled? So now instead of a petahash requiring an airplane hangar, it's smaller than this desk. We now have 2 mining facilities in Iceland. I understand there's a group of about 30 plus of you that are going there the first part of next year. We have a mining facility in China and also in Russia. Everything that we share with you can be documented. We're completely transparent. You can go on to blockchain.info and you can see how much Bitcoin we mine every day and go back to when we first started and see it all. You can see how much is in our wallet. When was the last experience you had where a company was completely transparent? On blockchain.info, you can find these graphs which actually rank all the top miners in the world. We don't have time to go through each and every slide right now, but you can see as we've grown, our percentages are getting bigger and bigger. In fact, I think Bitclub Network right here is at 9% of the world's supply. And of course, we see around the world very wealthy institutions and very wealthy individuals investing heavily into Bitcoin companies. Just a few examples, there's too many to list, but these are recognizable figures Sir Richard Branson, Bill Gates, movie stars, the New York Stock Exchange, MIT University, just to mention a very small. And of course, the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, chairman, talks about innovations that promote, and he's talking about digital currency, a faster, more secure, more efficient payment system. Hello world, Bitcoin is. Of course, we see around the world names that are the biggest banks and institutions in the world getting behind Bitcoin and blockchain technology. This is just a small sampling. Have any of you received your invitation from any of these or any other Bitcoin institutions to the party? No, we didn't, right? Their wine and caviar party, I didn't get an invitation. They want to keep this to themselves. But we're fortunate we're finding out about it anyway. Now I'm going to run through just a few slides here. Normally I would take the time to talk about all of the different exchanges, but literally in every country in the world you're going to find Bitcoin exchanges now. You see today already multi-billion-dollar companies. As an example of one multi-billion-dollar category are all the video gamers that are out there in the world that can pay with Bitcoin now. But it's not just that. I use Bitcoin, I can buy my airline tickets, I can buy my hotels, I can buy real estate, I can buy cars, I can buy watches, I can buy jewelry for my wife, she loves that. Next to my Bitclub Network website, which is my favorite website. My number 2 favorite site, which may become yours, is bitpremier.com. Here you'll find real estate all over the world, some of the most beautiful pieces of property and villas and airplanes and yachts and boats and watches and jewelry, you name it, and they only take Bitcoin. These wealthy people that are only selling these very expensive lifestyles of the rich and famous only accept Bitcoin because they know where the price of Bitcoin is going. Tim Draper is one of the world's most recognized and respected individuals in terms of the work he's done and the forecasts that he's made that come to fruition. And of course, he's one of the many advocates and champions that are projecting the price of Bitcoin in the next 2 to 3 years to hit 10,000. To give some perspective, I'd like to talk about just one company, which is a very well-known company. Most of you may have even bought from them if you've heard of Amazon.com. If Amazon.com, which does roughly $100 billion a year in business, was to replace all their credit card transactions with Bitcoin, they would double, without selling $1 more, they would double their profit. And just the volume of business Amazon does without any of the rest would drive the price of Bitcoin alone to over $6,000. Online gambling would drive it to over $2,000. The remittance sector, where people send money back home to friends and family, would drive it to over $42,000. And I have another slide on that in just a moment. Gas stations just in the U.S. alone, if they were accepting Bitcoin instead of credit cards, the price of Bitcoin would go to over $34,000. Now we're a long ways away today from global, worldwide adoption. But we've just given you a few examples. But just like we talked about the credit card and the internet and email, it's going to happen with us or without us. I don't want to look back, and I don't think you want to look back and have any regret. The reality is, folks, we don't need the entire world to switch to using Bitcoin. If we have just 1% adoption, that would take the price of one Bitcoin up to over $750,000, possibly over $1 million per. It's simply the law of supply and demand. You see, a lot of people that don't know what they don't know ask me, how could Bitcoin go to $1 million or $2 million a coin when there's never going to be more than 21 million coins mined? Well, first of all, one Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million units. $1 US is divisible by 100 pennies. Know how to do it in yen? but 100 million units. We talked about global remittance. Just in 2014, people paid over $54 billion to these companies. 54 billion versus 5 billion using Bitcoin. That's why we call it the people's money.
Go ahead.
So, as we look around the world, because Bitcoin is becoming more and more popular as it's adopted, we're seeing a lot of ATM machines showing up all over. In fact, I just learned today that there's a company that just got a contract that's going to install over 4,000 ATM machines here in Japan next year. Those that understand English, forget what I just said because I wasn't supposed to say that. So, Bitclub Network has our own ATM network. We have our own Bitclub ATM machines. And so up until now, we've talked about just Bitcoin mining until we brought up the ATM machines. But there's much. We also mine the number 2 digital currency in the world, which is, anybody? Absolutely, Ethereum. We know Bill Gates and Microsoft has invested tens of millions of dollars into this. We not only mine Ethereum and Bitcoin and have our ATM network, less than a year ago we introduced our own digital currency. Unlike the other, because there are other hundreds of digital currencies out there with zero value, ours is recognized and is traded, bought and sold on the exchanges. And unlike the scam companies out there that charge you for their fake coins, we don't sell our coins, we give them to you. You can sell them if you want to. I suggest you hold on to them because the price keeps going up. So when you're involved with Bitclub Network as a Bitcoin miner, you're actually receiving the club coin for free. Also, there's something that we're about to roll out the first of next year. It's going to drive the price of club coin up to $5 to $10 a coin in the very near future. So you can go on the buy-sell order books on the exchange and you can see it being bought and sold. You can look at the ask price and the bid price and the high and lows for that. It's a legitimate digital currency, unlike all of these fake coins you see popping up in the market, fooling people. Everything that we've shared and everything we will share with you, you can document it. We can prove it. That's why it's real. These other companies make claims, and if they can't document and prove it, it's just a lie. And we are about to roll out one of only 3 digital currency merchant platforms in the world. Our company is CoinPay. We have spent nearly a year and a half and a lot of money to roll this out, and it is going to benefit each and every one of us. And there's many ways, and we're going to talk about some of those ways with you here tonight. But first, let me share a couple of differences between what we have brought to market and the other 2 global platforms. Now, there's about 10, give or take, platforms out there that are country specific, but there's only 3 that are global. We're one of them. One of the major differences is that the other 2 companies act as a middleman. They take the Bitcoin or other digital currency that's legitimate and don't give it to the business owner until after the transaction. Not only making them wait, but also risking losing, as was recently in the news with Coinbase, where one of the businesses had an issue because all their Bitcoin never ended up in their account. The way our platform works is the moment the customer pays, it goes directly into the business's account. We never touch it. They pay us 1%, which is far less than what credit card companies charge, and that's paid through the compensation plan. And of course, if we set up the business, we get compensated as well. It's the only and the world's first smart payment app which is free to anyone that wants to use it. Remember the credit card? 30 years ago, no one would have believed that trillions and trillions of dollars would run through the credit card companies.
It's backwards.
Oh, I'm sorry, I pulled out my hotel card.
鍵でした。
Also, I'm very excited to share this next bit of information with you. With everything with Bitclub Network, we as the members own Bitclub Network, so we share in everything. This company, which is headquartered in Hong Kong, is issuing to all of us that are Bitclub miners, founders. You might have more than one position. We're being issued a large block of stock. You don't have to pay for it. If you're already involved or you get involved, you're going to receive it for free, just like Club. Now, in addition to getting paid residual income from all of the digital currency transactions occurring, imagine what that stock will be worth someday. We expect to dominate the entire world scene. A few of the reasons why we've already talked about, by not having the middleman and the money going directly into the accounts of the merchant. We talked a little bit about the smart payment app, but we haven't had time and won't be able to go through all of the features and functions of this, but we will in the very near future. Like the other two companies, they do not have tens of thousands of people around the world like Bitclub Network do, people just like you and I. Not only do we have something better, we have the manpower and woman power to get this out to all of the businesses, no matter how big or small. We fully expect that in the not too distant future, a few years down the road, somebody like Visa, who has a market cap of $280 billion, will want to buy us. Now we're going to go on receiving our residual income off all those transactions. But when that day comes, you may decide to sell your stock and become a very wealthy person, even not counting all your Bitcoin, or you may decide to hang on to your stock. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better and you were already thinking you were going to have trouble sleeping tonight, it gets better. We're also rolling out,
backwards.
Going the wrong way. We're also rolling out our Bitcoin trading robot, artificial intelligence. Now, this isn't something new and untested, but our partner has been operating and running this for over 4 years with incredible returns. And so recognizing our strength as a global company with individuals who understand digital currency, they wanted to partner with us. So now we get to put our Bitcoin to work. Rather than just holding on to the Bitcoin, imagine putting it to work so that it grows your Bitcoin. Now my time is almost up, but if you will allow me, I would just like to share my perspective, having been involved in the direct sales, affiliate marketing, network marketing industry for almost 30 years. Including Bitclub Network, I have built to the top of the marketing plan in 10 companies over those 3 decades. And for those of you that may have been involved in those industries, you know what that means in terms of income. And I've been the #1 income earner in 5 of those 10 companies. When I first looked at Bitclub Network, what attracted me was the passive returns, because I'm getting old and I'm just looking to retire. Now, I may not look 85. Actually, I'm dyslexic. Turn it around, I'm 58. But the industry's been very, very good to me. But I do have a problem with the industry. And so when I reached out and talked to my friends, my peers, my colleagues, I've asked them a question. The question is, past or present, is there any company that you know of that has never hurt anyone? They usually ask, what do you mean? Yeah. And I say, in this industry, we ask people to join us and to represent products and a brand that no one's ever heard of. We ask them to buy a product and sell it that has at least a 10 times markup. And then we wonder why so many people don't succeed and quit. And to add insult to injury, we ask them every month to write another check or use their credit card to pay for a subscription to buy more product that they're having trouble selling what they've already got. And I say, I finally found the company where no one can get hurt. Even if they don't tell anyone because they don't want to build the business, they're shy or whatever, it's okay because they're going to get paid passive income every day forever as long as they live. And that causes a lot of people to want to share. People that have joined my business that have never been successful before are now having success. And I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I understand we have someone on the front row that is having success that hasn't had that success in previous endeavors. And if she feels like sharing, she can. So, the next thing I ask them is to just imagine for a moment, without debating who's got the best company or the best comp plan or the best products or services. Let's just talk about the money. And I say, if you're earning $100,000 a month, which a lot of my friends earn that or more, and I'm earning exactly the same thing, you're getting paid in a currency that goes down in value every time the government prints more money. And I'm getting paid in Bitcoin that just keeps going up and up in value. And again, if all things were equal, although we know they're not, I can speak for me in the United States, making that level of income, we pay over half of it to Uncle Sam. So I tell him, you'd have to make twice as much as me because I don't pay anything in taxes. Now I have other income, money, cash coming in that I have to pay taxes on, but in the United States, the IRS will accept my Bitcoin, but I'm not going to give them any. I'm just going to pay them back their fiat currency. And then the last thing I tell them is that based upon the facts and the evidence and the direction that Bitcoin is moving, we're going to see at least a 20 times multiple, and it's going to keep going up. So if you're making $100,000 a month right now, if you were getting paid in Bitcoin, that's like making at least $2 million a month a few years from now. So they, or anyone for that matter, even if they don't want to build the business, would be insane not to invest some money into Bitcoin mining. Wouldn't you agree? So thank you again for inviting me to join you here this evening. It's been my pleasure and privilege.